Hey there, Reds. Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates, your daily hub for all things Manchester United. From transfer news to match, updates and behind-the-scenes stories, we've got it all. Let's get started.
Big transfer moves at Manchester United. Police car light £60 million bid incoming? Rashford drama? Amorim's next move? Stay tuned for all the latest updates on Erik Ten Hag's squad. Smash that like button and let's dive in. Man United could launch transfer bid for £60 million star Erik Ten Hag loves. There will be movement. Manchester United-linked Xavi Simons could reportedly be on the move again this summer. The versatile Dutch star, who can play in midfield and as a winger, was linked with a move to Old Trafford last summer. However, the 21-year-old ultimately joined Bundesliga side RB Leipzig on a permanent deal from Paris Saint-Germain in January. Simons has scored 6 goals and provided 4 assists across all competitions for Leipzig so far this season. His performances have helped to put the German club 6th in the Bundesliga table. Overall, it has been a disappointing campaign for them so far, having crashed out of the Champions League at the league phase stage. An Italian journalist, Fabrizio Romano, who specializes in transfers, has claimed that Simons may be interested in a move to the Premier League this summer. He reports that United, Arsenal, and Liverpool had previously expressed interest. I think that is a real concrete possibility of a move also in this case, he said via Give Me Sport. I can't say 100% because Leipzig invested big money to get him, something close to €80 million, around £60 million. Add-ons included to Paris Saint-Germain in January, so the investment was big. My information is that the player is quite open to trying something different. A lot of time in the Bundesliga, before that in the Eredivisie. Now the feeling I have is the player could be open to trying something maybe Premier League or La Liga. So, Xavi Simons is open to a summer move, then it depends on the financial package, it depends on Leipzig. Easy one, no, but I think there is a chance to happen and for Xavi to move. Last summer many clubs started calling for Xavi Simons, then he decided to rejoin RB Leipzig. There was Bayern very strong in the mix until the very end. There was interest from England, Arsenal, Liverpool, United, so I think for Xavi in the summer there will be movement, definitely. Former United boss Erik Ten Hag praised Simons after Netherlands suffered a 2-1 defeat against England at Euro 2024. I enjoyed Xavi Simons in that game against England, he said. The drive he has, the passion with which he conquers balls and recognizes situations are top. His enormous drive as well. That is almost un-Dutch. I think you can see that he was trained abroad. He almost has a Southern European doggedness in his game. Ruben Amorim claims Marcus Rashford agenda as he speaks out on Alejandro Garnacho. Ruben Amorim suggested a reporter was attempting to make a connection between Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford after the Argentine winger's reaction to being substituted for Manchester United on Wednesday night. Garnacho headed straight down the tunnel at Old Trafford after being subbed off towards the end of the first half of the Red Devils' 3-2 Premier League win against Ipswich Town. Amorim had taken Garnacho off in the wake of a red card for Patrick Dorgu. Speaking after the final whistle, Amorim explained his decision and confirmed he will speak to Garnacho about his reaction. He also suggested a reporter was trying to make a connection between Garnacho's reaction and Rashford, who Amorim froze out at Old Trafford before sanctioning his loan move to Aston Villa. Rashford notably failed to acknowledge Amorim when he came off in his final appearance for United away to Victoria Plzen on December 12. Was cold and wet maybe, Amorim said when asked about Garnacho's actions. The thinking was that we played more in 5-3-1. I know that's a risk because we take the only player now that has 1-against-1 in pace. But I felt the team was okay and the controlling of the game at halftime. And then we make the sub and we had to choose someone to go out. We also had to think about set pieces. So that was my choice. You are making a connection with Rashford, right? I know. What I am saying is I am going to talk with Garnacho about that. I will talk about that if you want in the next press conference. Kieran McKenna's disrespect from squad, honest Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thoughts, Cristiano Ronaldo fear. Kieran McKenna returned to Old Trafford on Wednesday as his relegation-threatened Ipswich Town lost 3-2 to struggling Manchester United, but it wasn't long ago he was part of the Red Devils setup. Kieran McKenna and his Ipswich Town will have come away from their 3-2 defeat at Manchester United on Wednesday, ruining such an opportunity to get a big result. The 38-year-old has flourished in his first managerial job since parting ways with the Red Devils, although the Tractor Boys do face the very real prospect of now dropping back into the championship. Rewind to the start of the 2018-19 Premier League campaign, though, and McKenna, alongside Michael Carrick, had found himself promoted to Jose Mourinho's assistant manager and retained his place when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took the reins midway through the season. He remained at the Theatre of Dreams until December 2021, when he took on the task of managing Ipswich, who were situated in League One at the time. While the rush of back-to-back promotions to the Premier League in 2023-24 and being linked with the United post last year when Erik Ten Hag was under pressure will have bolstered the young manager's confidence in the world of football management, Ipswich's first season in the English top flight has been incredibly testing. They sit 18th in the Premier League, 5 points from safety with 11 games remaining. United creeped up to 14th place with the narrow win on Wednesday despite playing the whole second half with 10 men after Patrick Dorgu's red card. The victory will help in United's quest to avoid a worst-ever Premier League finish under new boss Ruben Amorim, who replaced Ten Hag in November. While he faced McKenna in the opposite dugout last night, what did McKenna's time in the home end at Old Trafford look like from a coaching perspective? The Manchester Evening News breaks it down. A lack of respect from players during his tenure at United. Sources told The Telegraph that players felt McKenna looked out of his depth, lacked charisma and acted like a schoolteacher on the training ground and sidelines, claiming that his training sessions were more suited to the academy level he was promoted from while lacking intensity. The criticism ultimately portrayed McKenna as a coach who knew what he wanted to do, but was ultimately unable to get it across to his players due to a lack of experience on his part and a lack of respect on theirs, as he wasn't listened to as much as he perhaps should have been. It ultimately appears as though the critics were wrong about McKenna, however, who managed to take Ipswich from League One to the Premier League. Feelings towards Solskjaer. One of the things that most stood out about Solskjaer's time with United is how he was able to transform the changing room that he inherited from Mourinho. The team spirit was evidently lifted by Solskjaer's. INEOS slammed for enabling the Glazers at Manchester United after announcement made. Manchester United co-owners INEOS have been criticized by football finance expert Kieran. The Reds announced several cost-cutting measures on Monday as part of a transformation plan. Pending consultation with employees, the move involves potential redundancy for up to 200 staff members. The cuts would come in addition to the 250 roles already axed by United in the previous year. United's announcement has been widely criticized as the men's first team continues to toil on the pitch under head coach Ruben Amorim. The Reds currently sit 15th in the top-flight table and are on course for their lowest-ever Premier League finish and a season without European football for the first time in over a decade. Maguire has strong words to describe the cost-cutting plans announced by United this week, sharing his view that INEOS plans are enabling majority owners, the Glazer family, who have been widely blamed for the Reds' demise. They INEOS are essentially enabling the Glazers, he said via United in Focus. If the Glazers had announced 450 redundancies, the pushback from the United fanbase would have been huge. Whereas Ratcliffe came in and had instant goodwill because the PR machine spanned the story of putting the man back in Manchester. At the moment, he's putting the fail back into fails forward. A lot of people have given him the benefit of the doubt and are just repeating the mantra difficult decisions have to be made. United argued that their plans are to put the club on a stronger financial footing. Since 2019, the club has reported losses for 5 years straight, with a £27.7 million loss in its latest quarterly results. Over the past 3 years, the total losses have surpassed £300 million. We have a responsibility to put Manchester United in the strongest position to win across our men's, women's, and academy teams, said Manchester United CEO Omar Barada in a statement on the club's website about the announcement. We are initiating a wide-ranging series of measures which will transform and renew the club. Unfortunately, this means announcing further potential redundancies, and we deeply regret the impact on those affected colleagues. However, these hard choices are necessary to put the club back on a stable financial footing. We have lost money for the past 5 consecutive years. This cannot continue. Our 2 main priorities as a club are delivering success on the pitch for our fans and improving our facilities. We cannot invest in these objectives if we are continuously losing money. At the end of this process, we will have a more lean, agile, and financially sustainable football club, while continuing to provide a world-class service to our valuable commercial partners. We will then be in a much stronger position to invest in football success and improved facilities for fans, while remaining compliant with UEFA and Premier League. Harry Kane transfer update after Ruben Amorim's try-everything plea to Man United board. Ruben Amorim pleaded with Manchester United to sign a striker in the January transfer market, and this ex-Premier League ace thinks they should have listened. Manchester United are sorely lacking a player of Harry Kane's caliber amid Ruben Amorim's calls for a top number 9 to be signed, says ex-Premier League striker Clinton Morrison. The Red Devils were long-term admirers of the England captain Kane before his Bayern Munich move from Tottenham Hotspur. Having taken the reins at Old Trafford off of Erik Ten Hag in November, Amorim has struggled to find goals and to secure wins in the Premier League, with only a commendable Europa League performance to show for his efforts. In January, he urged the club's hierarchy to invest in a prolific goalscorer to fit into his distinct tactical approach, but the transfer window closed without any such acquisition. Former Premier League forward Morrison highlighted Kane as the type of player United desperately need and one they perhaps should have invested in last month. Any club in the world would miss Harry Kane, said Morrison, speaking to freebets.com. Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in world football. You can ask anybody. Man United were linked to Harry Kane. Before he went to Bayern, Man United should have pushed out all the stops to get him because they're missing him badly. Amorim's squad has struggled to find the back of the net in league play this season. The situation became so dire that at the start of February, before the transfer deadline, midfield talent Kobbie Mainoo was deployed in an attacking role. The 40-year-old later disclosed that he and the club had done everything possible to enhance their attacking options. We are trying everything to improve the team, admitted Amorim, and trying to balance the urgency of the moment. We know all of the aspects of our club in the moment, but we are trying everything. We have to improve as a team to score goals, and we are trying the best. This market is really hard on the clubs. To make some deals here, it's hard. United only managed to secure one major signing in January, wingback Patrick Dorgu, leaving the team short of players who fit Amorim's preferred style of play. Former top-flight striker Morrison expressed concern over the club's current state and its future prospects, considering this recruitment strategy. It just doesn't look good where they are in the league, added Morrison. We're talking about Man United Football Club, one of the big, if not the biggest team in world football. And the recruitment at times has been nowhere near good enough. I don't know if there's a root cause. I just think sometimes you look and say you've got aging players who probably can't play in this system. It's going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows until Ruben Amorim can get the players and people can buy into how he wants to play. Man United make classy appointment insignificant indicator over Ruben Amorim future. Manchester United are reported to have named Christopher Vivel as the club's director of recruitment on a permanent basis in a move that has seen the German accept a drastically reduced wage and has also seen more claims made about the man he succeeds, Dan Ashworth. The Red Devils parted ways with Dan Ashworth after just 5 months in his role as the Manchester United sporting director, having failed to impress Sir Jim Ratcliffe with his summer transfer business. Having arrived in the summer at a cost of £5 million in compensation to Newcastle, Ashworth spent some £180 million on 5 new players over the summer window before being shown the door in December, with his exit costing the club some £4.1 million in compensation. Now the club has restructured their recruitment team behind the scenes and have now confirmed the appointment of former Chelsea man Vivel on what has been described as a multi-year contract. Reporting to technical director Jason Wilcox, The Athletic writes that the 38-year-old will oversee the global recruitment operation and scouting structure at Old Trafford, as well as being placed in charge of emerging talent. But with the club this week announcing a number of job cuts, including the closure of their canteen, Vivel has agreed to take a pay cut in order to secure his long-term appointment at the club. However, the move is understood to have been welcomed by Amorim, who is known to be a big admirer of the German's work and was very much in support of him getting the role permanently. And having been the man responsible for launching the careers of the likes of Erling Haaland, Josko Gvardiol, Dominik Szoboszlai and Benjamin Sesko, Amorim and United will hope he can uncover similar gems in the years to come. Having already been at Old Trafford for a year, Vivel is believed to have already exerted his influence by pushing for a shift towards younger talent, with the likes of top prospects Chido Obi, Seko Kone and Diego Leon added to their youth setup, while big money has also been shelled out on the likes of Leny Yoro and Patrick Dorgu. United will hope the appointment of Vival on a permanent basis will ensure a more solid foundation behind the scenes, with plenty having gone wrong during Ashworth's brief spell in charge. A report earlier this month from ESPN journalist Mark Ogden explained why he was never the right appointment for what United wanted to achieve, and having also named Matthijs de Ligt as the summer signing that Ratcliffe and INEOS bosses both disagreed with their former sporting director about. There are two ways to look at the Ashworth situation. My view is that they hired the wrong guy for the wrong job, Ogden said on ESPN's X page. Dan Ashworth is known for building the structure of a club, building behind the scenes, and getting the right people in place. What he isn't is a sporting director. David De Gea sends two-word Man United reminder as Andre Onana pressure grows. Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana will have been disappointed to concede twice during the victory over Ipswich Town. Former Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea sent a reminder of his prowess before pressure mounted further on Andre Onana against Ipswich Town. Onana was the center of attention in the first half when he made the ill-advised decision to rush out and greet Patrick Dorgu for a passback. The Dane put too much on the ball and allowed Jadon Philogene the easy opportunity to tap into an empty net. Having fought back to being 2-1 up and just losing Dorgu to a red card, Onana was questioned again. He failed to read the danger of Philogene's cross-turn shot and allowed the ball to squirm into his bottom corner. The Cameroonian's performance against the Tractor Boys did little to ease the pressure on his shoulders after a difficult start to his United career. It perhaps does not help that his predecessor is enjoying himself away from the club and still looks back on his time at United fondly. Before the game, and ahead of United's clash with Fulham in the FA Cup on Sunday, De Gea shared a clip of his best save in a previous FA Cup match with the Whites, accompanied with the caption, "Good memories." Since leaving United in the summer of 2023 after Erik Ten Hag chose to bring in a goalkeeper who was more accomplished with his distribution, De Gea spent a year as a free agent while he plotted his next move. This past summer, De Gea made the decision to join Serie A club Fiorentina on a deal until the end of the season. The Spaniard became the club's first choice in Serie A after 4 matches and has played every game in the league since. In 23 appearances, he has conceded 25 goals and kept 7 clean sheets as Fiorentina sits 6th in the Italian top flight. Tyrell Malacia gets valuable minutes in his legs despite lone side's shock defeat. Manchester United's Tyrell Malacia put in a decent shift for PSV Eindhoven despite their shock defeat to go-ahead Eagles last night. The Dutch defender was named in the starting 11, but they were beaten 1-2 at home by their opponents. Despite having 24 shots on goal and 69% of the possession, they could not find an equalizer at the Philips Stadium. The United defender played the entire 90 minutes and was given a rating of 6.9 on SofaScore for his evening's work. He made 1 clearance and 1 interception as he was not asked to do much defending in the match. Malacia also made a total of 3 tackles in the game. The 25-year-old was also effective in his duels as he won 80% of his ground duels but did not compete in any aerial battles during the match. The left-back was heavily involved in an attacking sense as the home side dictated the majority of the play in spite of the defeat. He had 82 touches of the ball and completed a mammoth 94% of his passes, making 51 out of 54 attempts. The left-back also had 1 key pass in the match as his side searched for an equalizer. Malacia attempted numerous crosses as PSV utilized the wide areas but could only connect with 3 of his 9 crossing attempts. It was only his 3rd match for his new side and his 2nd start as the Dutch club are easing him into action after such a long injury layoff. He will likely next be involved when PSV travel to face the same opponents this Saturday afternoon. The United man will also likely have one eye on next week's huge Champions League tie against Arsenal, where he will be hoping to play a significant part in proceedings. Doncaster Rovers boss Grant McKenna has explained why he made the harsh decision to substitute Manchester United loanee Ethan Enis during the victory over Accrington Stanley, despite the fact he came off the bench in the second half. Enis joined Doncaster in January and will stay there until the rest of the season. He made the switch to the League Two club in search of regular first-team minutes. The forward made his Doncaster debut in the FA Cup 3rd round, coming on in the 84th minute of a dramatic penalty shootout win over Championship outfit Hull City. Enis has gone to feature an additional 8 times for Doncaster, with 4 of these coming as starts. He was not part of the matchday squad that lost 2-1 to Grimsby Town 2 weeks ago, as he was recovering from an injury sustained in the FA Cup meeting with Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace. The United youngster was back on the bench for the subsequent match against Morecambe, but did not get a taste of action. He returned to the pitch last weekend as Doncaster beat Accrington Stanley at Wham Stadium. The 20-year-old was thrust into proceedings in the second half, but did not finish the game, as he was withdrawn in the dying embers following Patrick Kelly's red card.